righty, good morning. Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Welcome to Bima's Crafty Corner. I am Bima, known as Els, and we are working on a little golden book. All right. So, little golden book. Where did I put it? Hold on, it's here somewhere. Hi, Harry. Yes, I'm a little golden book. No, you're not. You're a cat. You're a pussy cat. You are. You're a kitty kitty. Yes, you're a kitty. You're a kitty, a kitty, a kitty. You're a pain in the behind, but you're a kitty. All righty. Hello, Miss Mari. Hello, Steffi. Steffi J's in the house. Hiya, baby. What's up? You got to get down. No, that's the wrong little golden book. We need this one. Yeah, that's the thing. I got to do the thing. Yeah. All right, you got to go. Get down. Come on, get down. Get down. Go. Shoo. Scram. Leave. Thank you. All right. Our little golden book. Some washi tape. Some stuff. Some more stuff. More stuff. More stuff. All right. And then we have a bunch of paper, which I'm not going to dig out until we need it. Quite honestly, I don't remember where we are in this book. All right. So let's take the rubber bands off and let's take a look at what we got going on here. Whew. Hold on. I got to turn the fan on. Hot. It's hot. Hi, Christine. Okay. All right. Oh, that's much better. Much better. Okay. Okay, so let's get this out of the way real quick. So this is our little golden book that we're doing, Pooh and the Dragon. Cute little story. There is a playlist. Facebook. Look on Facebook. Let's see if I can find what we're looking for here. That's what we want. Hey, quit. You got to get down. Yeah, you got to go. Go on, scram. Go. There, see? Me, go. There you go. Okay. He's a little problem child is what he is. All right, so I'll get the playlist in a second. My computer restarted and I have to get the page open. So there's a playlist for this that tells you how to get this apart. while keeping the gold spine intact, because after all, that's really what a little golden book is all about, is that golden spine. And then how to reinforce the center of your spine so that you keep the book itself intact. And it also tells you how to keep the story intact. Okay? Because what's the sense of having it if you can't read the stories? We can read the story because the story is all here. So this is our first signature. We still need to figure out what we're putting in this front pocket because we haven't really put anything in there yet. And there's a couple other things that we want to get done. Also, we are going to add some tabs to this book, and there's still a little bit to do here and there. Somehow we skipped this whole page. Don't know why, but y'all get the idea. We do have a few little things we have to finish up in here. So we're going to start at the beginning and, do our tag tops and things today and get our journaling cards completed and all of that so that we can sew this in, hopefully, tomorrow. So we have some cardstock. We have this. This is elementary paper, not kindergarten paper. And kind of like that. We might use that for a journaling card. Let's see. All right, we got some stuff. We can work. All right, so that is way too big. Let's cut it down. Let's see how that works. All right, that goes in. I'm going to get this cut off. 5 by height here. Straighten up the edge. Let's get this out of the way. A bookmark. We could. Okay. Alrighty. So now we have a piece that is I guess we should straighten all the sides before we decide, huh? That one is just a little off. Okay. All right, so now we have a piece that is roughly 5 by 6. And it's going to be 5 3/4 this way. We're going to come in and take that. Hello, Michelle. All right. Get rid of that. Let me grab the playlist for this. Here it is. So that is the little golden book playlist. If you are interested in finding out how I do this, please don't ask me to do it shoddy. I can't. I just can't. All right, let's see. I'm going to look at the comments here in a second and see if there's anything I need to say. Harry, stop. You're driving me nuts, kitty. All right, let's see. Yes, yes, yes. A bookmark in the front. We have a bookmark in there. Yeah, I got a little poo in my book. Get down. Get down. You are in a mood today. Go. Go. Oh. All right, we are using our vintage walnut photo. It's our own custom blend. Actually, at this point, I think it's probably really just more walnut than anything. I got, let's see. I got my new planner in for next year. I'm trying to order my planner for the year, because it's September. You got 3 months left. And so I'm trying to order my planner, and I'm on Amazon, and they have July of 2025 through June of 2027. And I'm like, that's not the kind of planner I need. That's a school planner. I don't want one. I need a regular planner. So I go back. It's still giving me these 2-year, mid-year planners. I don't know about y'all, but once you get out of school, you don't really do that, You just kind of, you get to the real year. And then all the ones that they had were the cheap ones, that are like magazines almost. Such a pain in the behind. All right, so we have a giant journaling card at the front. I have a little bit of lift here, so I'm going to put a little glue underneath. I don't know, maybe glue's coming out of the bottle. I'm not sure. Okay, so we're good here. We're good here. We need a top. Let me get Army's box down. Now, I think Winnie the Pooh, I think this should be Rick Rack. Well, you guys know I use the planner for like everything, because if I don't, I forget everything. Which reminds me, Michelle, mull this over in your head. You want to come spend a week with me? Maybe 2? In October? Mull it over. Just think about it. I'll explain it all later. Just throw that out there. But, I keep track of everything. I keep track of our game in here. I keep track of the quarterly stuff, our mixed media stuff. It's all, I keep it all in here. Otherwise, I forget. And then somebody asks me a question like a week later, and I'm like, I don't know. Harry's got washi tape on the floor. All right, so I'm thinking that this should be Rick Rack. I gotta find scissors. Here they are. So after much searching, where's that stapler? There it is. I managed to find one. All right. Yeah, I think the Rick Rack is what works. Okay. I'm good here. I'm okay here. Good. Yeah. We missed one of our tickets. Scissors. Okay. Some glue, because, you know, it's just washi tape. It'll come off. Let it flow. Let it flow. Come on, glue. I just filled you up. Weight alone should be shooting the glue out of there. Okay. And putting it right there. Whew, that just made it. All right, then we have this one. Good. Good. Yeah, that works for me. This one, we got our thing. We need a top. So we use some of this vintage Rick Rack. You know, Rick Rack hasn't changed in hundreds of years. Seriously, like, at least, you know, since it came to be. All right, so here's our bookmark. And crapo. Yeah, we're gonna have to do that one. That one I think is, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Normally I wouldn't, but I'm gonna do it. Oh, come on. Let's all get together. All right, we got it. Yep, it works. All right, so we got that one. This one needs a hole and some Rick Rack. Whew. There was something in the hole. All right, this one needs some Ricky Ricky. And again, we'll do the yellow. I remember Buggy, he had that, when he was a baby, he had that flat spot on the back of his head from the car seat. Because it was the only place he would take a nap. Like, it was the only place he would sleep. So when it was time for him to take a nap, his mom would put him in the car seat, and then you could rock him and because, the car seats rock. And, we would get him to take a nap. And it was the only way to get him to take a nap. And he had an older brother and sister. But when he was born, Shaylee was 4. And dude was like 2 years old. So they couldn't hold him, but they wanted to. And so in order to avoid that problem, we just left him in the car seat. They could rock him and play with him in the car seat. Well, he ended up with a flat back of his head. It's rounded out now, and then Alexa tried to get, the helmet. They wanted to put the helmet on him to straighten his head out, get it rounded out. But the insurance kept messing around to the point where by the time they approved the helmet, he was too old. So we just had to wait for his head, to get reshaped. But in the meantime, he did not like his head. And so until he was about 6 or 7, we just let his hair grow. And he had hair down to about the bottom of his shoulder blades before he got his first haircut. And we went and took him in and we said, okay, well, what do you want? And he was like, I want it like this. And we were like, are you sure? Because that was like, he went from having hair below his shoulder blades to he wanted it buzzed and shaved. And we were like, are you absolutely sure about this? And he was like, yeah, that's what I want. And we were like, okay. So we went ahead and let the guy buzz it. And he kept a tail. And for the longest time, we were worried that he was going to, not appreciate that. But he did pretty good with it. And I think it had a lot to do with he had started school. He started school when he was 3 and a half. Yeah, 3 and a half. We put him in school at 3 and a half because I'm sure you guys have noticed Buggy's missing the top of these 2 fingers. I have a tricycle bicycle, and it has a assisted pedal on it. And I had some foster kids that were staying with me, and they were on the bike, and they weren't supposed to be. So Buggy had seen them on the bike, and he went over and told them they're not supposed to be on the bike. And the one girl went to get off, and she almost fell. So he was holding the pedal so she could use the pedal to get down. And somehow one of the other kids stepped on the other side of the pedal, and it spun, and he lost these 2 fingers in the sprocket, in the shaft, the sprocket thing, the pedal assembly. And so we took him, he had to go to the emergency room. I took him to the emergency room. In the back of my van, we had found the fingertips, cleaned them, put them on ice, took his fingers, wrapped his fingers, had him hold his hand up, took him to the emergency room. We get him to the emergency room. They said that he has to go to a different hospital because that hospital has the transplant section where they'd have to put his fingers back on. So we moved him to another hospital. They wanted to take him by ambulance. We were like, no, we'll drive him there. Just call them and let them know we're coming. I'm not spending $1,000 on an ambulance to go 2 miles to another emergency room. Just tell them that he's coming. So we took him to the other emergency room, drove him over there. And they came in and they looked at it and they were like, well, we're going to try transplant surgery, blah, 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 blah. Well, there wasn't enough fat on his fingers. and the pieces that were there weren't enough to really have any veins or anything in them per se. Like they had tiny little pieces, but it wasn't enough to. So they ended up just closing up the 2 fingers, and he comes out of surgery and he's got a cast on it, and you know, fingers are bandaged and he's got a cast on the whole thing because they don't want him moving his hand around and using his hand because they don't want him to tear all the stitches out. And he's in the recovery, and his mom's, by this point, his mom has gotten there, and because she was at work. And so I'm like, the nurse calls us into the recovery room. We go in because they're starting to wake him up. And he's beating this thing on the side of the bed. And the nurse is like, no, 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 honey, no, 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 you hurt yourself. No, do that. He goes, I'm testing it, because he wants to know if this is going to beat the crap out of his brother. So now we call it the claw. But because I was a foster parent, I knew about what programs we had access to. And one of the programs I had is sort of like a Head Start program, but it's for kids that have developmental and mental issues going into school. They're behind, you know. And so I went and I talked to one of the occupational therapists, and I said, you know, what do you think? And she goes, well, bring him in. And so I brought him in, and she looked at him. She didn't charge me anything. She just looked at him and she goes, well, this is what I can recommend. And it was like putting like little beads, like jewels and beads and stuff, into slime and having him try to pick them out so that he learned to use those fingers. And there were a couple of other things like walking it up a wall and back so that he would keep the blood circulating in the fingers and get feeling back and all this. And I said, you know, I wonder if they will take him in the Find a Child program. So I took him, I went over there and I asked, I said, can I get an appointment for my own grandson? And they said, well, what's going on? And I explained it to her, and she goes, oh yeah, that'll be covered. That's covered. Bring him in. We'll do the testing. So we took him in, he did all the testing, and they approved him for the program. Now, the nice thing about it was he was in the morning class. He was only there half day, but he was in the morning class, which starts the exact same time as all the other kids. So by this point, his brother and sister were in 1st and 3rd grade, and they got to ride the bus with him because he automatically gets a bus ride for this program. And they said, you know, if there's extra room on the bus, then they can ride with him. And there was only 3 kids on the bus to begin with, so they could ride to school with him, which was nice because then, you know, the kids got free bus to school in the morning. But he went in, and his teacher's name was Mrs. Garr. And oh, he loved her. He loved her. He had her for 2 years. Because he had her for his first year there, and then his second year. And then when he went to kindergarten, he was right across the hall from her. And she actually was going to retire, and she waited to retire 1 more year till he got to past kindergarten, because she wanted to be there to help him, because sometimes he would have some issues with, like, other kids would tease him because of his fingers, you know. And so she wanted to be there to help him, because she had given him some, you know, like, oh, the claw, you know, she gave him those kinds of things, like how to react. And then to top it off, not only did he have the claw, but then he got glasses, you know. But you guys have all seen him wave and everything, and he's 100% kid. He's learned to just get past it. He doesn't even think about it anymore. He learned it, and of course it was his dominant hand, but he had to learn how to write again, you know, and how to hold. But luckily it happened so young that he really hadn't, like, locked in those behaviors. So they were able to help him to develop those behaviors in a way that worked with his hand. And so he got all those done, and they found out he had a speech issue, so he got speech therapy too on top of it. But yeah, my boy. I love my boy. We all know this. I adore my boy. He's my buddy. right, let's do this one. And I just want to put it like right, I think maybe over here. Maybe over here. Over here. Let's do it over here. But so, yeah. So we have a flat head. We have a speech impediment. And our fingers are screwed up now. That kid got the shaft, man. And he's on the spectrum, which is why he spends so much time over here at Bima's house. Where's my thing? Did I lose my thing? Harry stole it. That little turd. He's always stealing stuff. I need a thing. I left the cap off for too long. All right. There it is. Yeah, he doesn't know any other way to do it. So the way that he does it is the way it's supposed to be done. Yeah. But Mrs. Garr, she's the one that figured out that he had autism and had him tested and all of that stuff. And he's only slightly on the spectrum, like Asperger's, kind of slightly on the spectrum. He is an absolute sweetie. He's that kid. You know what I mean? We go out and he holds the door for people. When I was down in Phoenix, we went to go see Miss Janie. We went in one of the stores and we were shopping, and the lady bagged up the stuff, and he reached over and he grabbed the bag. And she's like, "Oh, no, honey, that's my stuff." And he goes, "I know, yours is in this hand and Bemis is in this hand," and walked it to her car because that's the way he is. He's extremely polite, very courteous. He's a fantastic kid. And see, we forgot our sticker on this one too. But he's very quiet, very introverted. Too much noise drives him crazy. Well, we can't put that one there because we got that one on the other side. All right, let's get a different one. See, good thing we looked. All right, here, we get this one. All right, I got another one. Let's do this. I'm doing it here. I know, I love that picture. It's so cute. All right, so we're done with, oh, I want to put the back on this one. And I want to cut it to 4 3/4 by 5 3/4. 4 3/4 by 5 3/4. I'm gonna let that dog out. And it's gonna be 5 3/4 tall. So I'm gonna get rid of this first. Okay. Well, maybe we could get that straight. No, I have days, guys. I have days. All right. 5 3/4 this way. And then 4 3/4 wide. Round the corners on this. I'm not going to. That's okay. I need a piece of scrap paper. Piece of scrap paper. All right. Let's do this. But yeah, that's why Buggy comes over here, because he's there's a lot of people that live in his house. A lot of people. And he kind of gets it gets a little gets to be a little too much for him. So he comes over to be my Pop-Pops. So that he can get a little quiet. All right. He was here from Thursday till yesterday, and he went home because he goes to school tomorrow, so he had to go home and do his chores, and then he'll come back here Thursday after school because he's got his thing. What is it? Some kind of school decathlon thing that he's going to do, and I have to take him to the park for it. So I will drive him over there, and I will wait. By the time we get him checked in and everything, it's only like 45 minutes to an hour. So I usually drop him off, and then there's a Taco Bell right down the street. And I just go and hang out at the Taco Bell until he pages me. And then I go and I pick him up and bring him home. And then he spends the weekend here. All right. This glue. No tape on this because this paper, it's this elementary paper and the kindergarten paper, it's newsprint. You try to put the tape on it, it just tears it up. Yeah. When people talk about it, and I hate to say it, but a lot of times it's adults who point that crap out. You know, well, your kid has a flat head. And the kid's standing there going, what? What do you mean I have a flat head? It's my head. It's just the way it's always been. I have to say this, though. The best one was Dude. Dude broke his arm when he was probably about 6 or 7 years old. And so we took him to the emergency room, and he was with me. They spent a lot of their young years. Up until they hit teenagers, they lived with me. But he broke his arm. And so I took him to the emergency room and called his mom and dad. And his dad showed up, and he's sitting there on the thing, and he's like, he was hungry. He was starving. So Pop had went to get him something to eat. And the only thing that was in the vending machine was Gatorade and peanut butter, Nutter Butter cookies. Yay! And so he's sitting there in the thing, and they had come in and they'd put a splint on his arm, and he didn't need a cast. They were just, it was clean break, so they were just going to put him in one of those lace up cast things, you know, the metal brace things with the hand, and then they tie up, and that's it, because it wasn't a bad break. And so his dad comes in, and his dad's like, son, what happened? And he's like, oh, and he's giving him the whole story. And he's a little out of it because they've given him some pain medication, because, you know, they had to make sure that, you know, it was in the right position before they put this brace on, and then they have to pull the brace on, which is kind of painful. So they had given him some medication, and they were kind of waiting for the medication to kick in, and he was sitting there and he was eating these cookies, and his dad comes in, and his dad's like, are you okay, son? And he's talking to his dad, and he goes, here, you want a cookie? And his dad goes, oh, honey, I can't eat those. They're Nutter Butters. I'm allergic to peanut butter. He goes, I know. He wanted to kill his dad. I was like, okay, note to self, anesthesia makes Ashrin homicidal. Okay. All right. So we have one here. We have one here. We did this one where we went ahead and penciled it. It is watercolor pencil, but as long as we don't get it wet, it won't do anything. The only one that hasn't broken something is Shaylee. And if she breaks anything, I swear she'll be like, the cast will weigh more than she will. All right, we got this one. That one. This is good. This one we decided we were going to leave it alone. We didn't do anything on here. This is not my art. This was on the paper. We do have a postcard over here. That is not a tuck. It's just a piece of ephemera. Then this one, which is a tuck, which you can take off so you have that whole page to write on, plus the journal card. There we go. Got our little thing over here. Got our thing there. Then we have our kind of lopsided one and our little paper clip. Nice writing space here. I like the way this blends. Another pocket, journal card, flip. More writing space. Got our thing here. Got a thing there. Got a library card here. I don't know. I'm going to put a little ink on the back of this one. I normally don't on the back of a card, but this one is just so glaringly white. Who the hell thought that was a good idea? Maybe me. I don't know. All right, into our semi-fussy cut pocket. Then here we have this one, which is, you know, it can be used as a journal card. It can be used as a bookmark. And I'm thinking we're probably going to put something at the top of it to use it as an additional bookmark if somebody wants to. I'm not going to laminate it, though. We'll just keep it the way it is. Let's go ahead and I'm going to round these top two corners. And then we'll put a thing in there and make a bookmark out of it. And I'm going to use the slot. Grab my slot punch. That was the last one you went to, huh? Yeah. He got hurt and that was it. We were done. I can't watch this. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Let me see. You got hurt? No, we're not doing that again. Why? Because Grandma's got a bad heart. I'm old. All right. This one, I don't know. I don't want to use rickrack on it. That might be too dark. We could do red. No, maybe not. Let me see if I have gray. If I have a gray or like a purpley gray, then we could use that for Eeyore. Nope. How about this one? Yeah, we're going to use this one. It's vintage. Skizzers. Like, no. Why? Because Grandma can't watch you get hurt, damn it. Oh, I'm so glad that my grandson's just into acting, dancing. He's doing ballroom dancing. Holy crap. He's built for it, though. And I'll tell you what, he works out every day. Every day. He's got an 8-pack. He does. He's 15, and he has a freaking 8-pack. I don't. That's a little long, isn't it? Should we do this little? Yeah, you just don't. Yeah. Yeah. That's your baby. No, I know. What do you guys think? I think it's a little long. I think it needs to be down like here. We're doing it. Giving it a haircut. Ready? Okay. Now, fold it in half. From the inside to the outside. Let's give it a little V. On there, like that. And stapler. This wide stuff takes 2 staples. One on either side. Didn't catch in the back. Get it caught. Okay, got it. I know, right? I don't care. That's like when we took Buggy to the hospital, the triage nurse, she's like looking at it. The doctor comes in and the doctor said, looked at the nurse and went, "Good job. Nice packing." And the nurse went, "I didn't do that. He came in that way." And that's what you get when you have 2 medics. We used to take our grandkids camping. Like if we went anywhere, I still have it. It's a big bag like this. It's our med bag. It's got everything in it. There's liquid stitches in there. There's every kind of 4x4, 8x8, 6x6 you can imagine. There are maxi pads in there because they're great to stop up bleeding. There's spray cleaners and it just everything you can possibly imagine. Slings, the whole 9 yards. We even keep a bottle of clean saline in there, sterile saline in there. Exactly. You know, it's like, this is what we do. And we always, and it always sits on the table in camp. Why? Because we need to know exactly where it is if one of the grandkids should fall. Because they do. Because we encourage them to be kids when we're in the woods, you know? Go play. I don't want to. I don't give a crap. Go play. Okay. Ah! All right, we got this one. It's already done. Because I already did the back of it. So let's just, let's just ink it and put it in here. Because that pocket looks a little bare. Haha, no pun intended. Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, that's better. Okay, Now, this is good. This is okay. I don't mind this. This has got its thing. This one's got one. This is that blank page. We have to figure out what we're doing. What are we going to do with this page, guys? I mean, we could just put a tab on it and be done. Yeah, the last thing you want as a kid is to have grandparents that are medics or firefighters or, you know, any kind of a first responder, because we're overly protective. We're overly cautious. You get a skin knee and you're walking away with a cast. Just the way it is. Deal with it.
At least some trickle antibiotic. Band-Aid.
Well, yeah, he has his own bag, because Michelle lives in an area that's got a high forest fire, you know, rural fire areas, and so they have to bug out. Like if there's a big fire in their area, they have to bug out, and that means they have to take Jesse out too. So and Jesse's well, he's a little bit human centric, and he's a big boy. So yeah, he has his own bag that he has to take with him. It's got his toys in it and extra collar and all his medicines and food that he can eat, you know, and some treats. Yeah. And they just get up and keep on going. I remember when my brother was little, when he was a baby, my mom told me this story because he's older than I am, but he was probably about 4 years old. I was just a newborn. And he was playing Batman. And so he was jumping from the couch to the hassock to the chair. And he hit the hassock and it had wheels on it and it rolled, and he hit the corner of the table with the soft spot in the back of your head. And he went out to where my mom was cleaning, and she had just put me down and I had just gone to sleep. So, and she did that. I did it too. Vacuumed so that the noise would put me to sleep so she could clean and do stuff when I was sleeping without waking me up. And so she was vacuuming, and he comes in and he had his hand on the back of his head, and he said something to my mother, and she was like, just go back and watch your show. And he turned around and like everything's falling out of the back of his head, and she freaked the hell out. It's just something kids do. It really is. I have seen Shaylee when she was little. I've seen her get a goose egg on her head, and you're like, where did that come from? She's like, I don't know. I don't know. Does it hurt? Well, if you touch it. Okay, let's see. What are we going to put here, guys? Let's do this one. Let's ink it and see. I think that was the day my mother decided to become a paramedic. Yeah. I don't know. It's there. Kids. My boys. Oh my God. I was like, they drove me crazy. They were constantly beating the crap out of each other. And I told my mom, I said, what the hell am I going to do with them? My mom drives up to the mountain, gets a log, loads it in the car, brings it home, gets out a hatchet. She puts this log in my backyard, puts the hatchet next to it, and she says, this is what we're going to do. When the boys have all that pent-up energy, you're going to send them out here and make them chop you a piece of this off. And then we hung a boxing bag. And whenever they would get hormonal, because boys do too. Girls go through it, but boys do too. Whenever they would get hormonal, my mom would make them go out and beat up that bag or hack at that tree branch, that big old piece of tree. I'll tell you what, I told Alex the same damn thing. When her boys got to that age, I told her, I said, get them a boxing, one of those bags, weight bags. Why? Just trust me, do it. She bought them one. She put it out in the back, out in the garage. And when they get to the point where they're beating the crap out of each other, she makes them go out there and hold that bag for the other one and beat the shit out of it. They wear themselves out, come back in, and then they're buddies again. But one of these days, Ashwood's going to figure out he's about a foot shorter than his brother, and his brother's got 100 pounds on him. He pushes his brother around. One of these days, Buggy's going to figure out, I'm bigger, I weigh more, my arms are longer, I'm going to take you out. Oh, she got mad? Well, it didn't have a battery. You got to fix these things. She needs a battery. This needs something. I don't know. It needs something. I think we're going to do some washing. Good for her. I made my daughter take shop class in school. She came back and reported that the teacher was an idiot. I think he pulled all the spark plugs out of an engine. Like they had an engine that they worked on, and he pulled all the spark plugs out, showing them how to change and gap spark plugs, but he didn't mark the lines. And she went, he's an idiot. And I went, why? She goes, he didn't mark the lines. How's he going to know the firing order? Now we got to look at it. I was like, oh no. We do some stuff, don't we? I had one that was a biter and used to bite everybody. So I lined everybody up, made them bite her back. I was like, did she bite you? Uh-huh. When did she bite you? Last Tuesday. Here's the mark. Bite her ass back. Did she bite you? Uh-huh. When? Yesterday. Here's the mark. Bite her back. That's good parenting right there. And that poor child who bites everybody else is standing there going, well, they don't like it either. Go to your room. Horrible people. We are horrible people. All right. There and there. We are done with all of that. All right. So now we need to get some tabs. So to do the tabs, I'm going to use some of the leftover bits of pages that we have. That have images on them. And I'm thinking I might just use the, I don't know if I want to use these tab punches or if I just want to use the other one. You know what, we'll do a couple out of this one. We'll do a couple from the other one and, you know, we'll figure it out. Okay, let's see. All right, let's get this one in here. That will work right there. Yes? Yes. I may use, I do have a set of dies. I'm going to take a little bit more off of here. Okay. Just there. Got to get it lined up just right. Why is everybody texting me? Who's texting me? That's a good question. Okay, let me see. My kids probably. Let me see. Got it, Christine. Okay. All right, so we got that one. Let's do this one. Let's see if we can get him on there. All right, we got that one. All right, we got to do this one, which I think we'll just cut out of a piece of this, you know, with a honey pot. Let's take some of that off. Fold this up. Oh, I don't know. I may have cut that too small. We'll try it. No, it's going to just work. Get rid of those. All right, let me see. What can we use? There's a Winnie the Pooh. Let me take a little off of there. Boink. Let's do that.
You know, I just let you out and let you back in.
Okay. That one. And, well, there's Rabbit. We could do Rabbit. Understand that this is only going to be, you know, half. There's a Pooh and Piglet. And let's do, this. All right, we got that one. Well, honey, just you'll get used to them. You know you needed them. Okay, let's fold these. Here we go. This one. This one. This one. Being conservative here, usually I make a lot of these and then we don't use them. This one. There. Put this out over here. Let's ink these puppies. Okay. Alrighty. She's going to go on a cruise. They're going to put her in a life jacket and a leash, right? This is Zola we're talking about. She'll be climbing on the railing. Somebody's going to be tethered to that child, correct? Like forever and ever and ever? But, you can't get ink out of the lid. You have to get it off the pad. Yeah. Amazing, right? See, we all learn new things every day, especially me. Do-do-do. Doofus. Yep. Dee-dee-dee, that's me. All right, that one. This one. We all know how much I love inking. So I'd have to sit here and ink these things. Ooh, so happy. Last one, hopefully. It could be the last one. There could be another one. I don't know. I might start it and then go, I got to make another one. This one's got Piglet and Pooh's ass. Okay. Oh, I'm sure they will. Trust me. All right, let's put one here. We want to do this, but we want to make sure that we don't affect what's on the other side. So, here, maybe. All right, we're going to put one here. Glue. Gluey, gluey, glue. Gluey, 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 glue. Gluey, 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 glue. Honey pots. See, the honey pot's right below the honey pot. And over. All right, that gets us one. And then we'll do one here. Kind of there. Let's do rabbit. Because we used one of the long ones. So we're going to use one of these now. These two pages do not like to come apart, so let's tab one. Let's tab this one over here. I love people that get all neurotic about where the tabs are. You know, like, oh my God, I gotta have it right there. No, you don't, sweet pea. Just put it any old damn place you want to. As long as they're not all like at the top, you know what I mean? All right, we're gonna need more tabs than this. We're just gonna need more tabs. It's just the way it is. I'm gonna put one at the top. This one. I'm gonna do it at the top. Hi, Ken, it's my book. Hey, Gypsy. Oh, your net's been down. Okay. We were worried about you, honey. The other day you said you had a doctor's appointment, and then we don't hear from you. What the hell? That's the way to give us all a heart attack. We do still have that other one, this one that we did that I screwed up and did it at the top. So we could use this. We could just use it on a page and put it at the top, you know? You know, you do that. Well, I think it goes in deeper than that, though. Let me see. Yes, it does. Okay. All right, we're going to forgive you this time. Don't you do that to us again. All right, so we have a couple of little tabs at the top. This one sticks out at the top. That's cool. And this one is ready to go in, so we're going to do some tabs on this one. Obviously, we're going to need some more tabs. I mean, maybe. I might be able to do one more after this, you know. There. And let's put our Tigger one over here, right here in the middle, I think will work. Right there. Then we have that one. And let's do this one towards the bottom. Okay. Oh, way too much glue. Do this one down here. Okay. Yep, we're going to need one more. One more. Let's see what we got. Well, we have these. I just think they're too dark. Maybe there's a light one. Let's see. We could use that one. That one's not too bad. We're going to use this one. Let's put some ink on it. Nope, I don't like it. See how I am? I don't like it. No. Okay. All right. Hole punch. Big hole punch. Okay. Yep. Ink. Yes. I believe we are. Timer's still running. Somebody tell me if we are or not. Can you hear me? Hello? Anybody there? Okay. Okay, we got that one, and there, and that's it. And we have some tabs and stuff. So you can get this extra one here. I'm going to take these. I'm going to shoot myself in the face with this piece. There we go. Okay. What did I do with it? There it is. Okay. We are going to ink this. Put it in there. We do have some extra journaling cards and stuff, so I may stick some more in some of the pockets if we, But that is that. Now, I need to make a thing for this. Let me grab, I got a half a sheet of bread. That'll work. And we need to make our tablet. Okay, so our pages are exactly 8 inches. So we're going to take this down to 8. Exactly. Okay, now we're going to measure our spine, which is 1 1/4. So I'm going to cut this at 1 1/4 inches. Okay. Okay, so now, with a little golden book, you want your signatures to be here. Okay. I'm going to put a little bit of glue right here. I don't like that. Whoa, maybe a lot of glue right there. Okay. So you want your signatures to be one here and one here. So what I do is I put it in and I line it up with the marks from the original staples. And then I just kind of put a line, like a mark. All right, I need to trim a little bit off of this. Let's start with that, just a hair. Because we want this to be able to close without it, moving things around. That's good. All right. So I'm going to bring it down, and I use the staple marks here and here. And then I'll move it up and do the same thing here. Here. And here. And that's where my two signatures are going to go. So then I'll take my scoreboard and we'll just kind of line those up. Let me get the big one so I can see both ends. You can't do this on the 1/4 inch one, by the way. Okay, that one to that one. This is what I use this line for. And then from that one to that one. Okay. So that's where our signatures are going to go. So let me go ahead and fold this. We need it to be equal parts, and we're going to do a 5. So fold it in half, then fold about 1 inch at the top, then fold this to there. Okay, a little bit further up here. That to be a little deeper. There we go. That'll work. Where's my bone folder? There it is. Okay, so right about there. And then fold that in half. Alrighty. So here, 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 and here. That's our marks. Okay, then all I have to do is fold these on the score lines. Okay. And then that is going to be, we're going to call this part top. This is bottom. We are going to do this part tomorrow. We're going to put the holes in and get started stitching everything together. And then I think on Friday, we'll start on the Dark Macabre. Our Dark Macabre. Spooky, creepy book. We're not going to get into that discussion again. Is it macabre? 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 No, we're not getting into that discussion. No, no, no. We are not. We are not. We are not. All right. So tomorrow we're going to do this. Put that over there. I'm going to put this in the book. These are going in the book. That's B. This is A. in the book. Close it up. We're going to put some of our rubber bands back on just to hold it together. This is tomorrow. Tomorrow. We'll finish tomorrow. All right. So back to what we started with today, which is this thing. So I could not find one this size. So I got this one. So this one is our 2026-2027, which means I'm actually starting to put stuff into it already because we are all the way to the end of December in this one. So we're going to go into this one. Now it's bigger. It is bigger, but it has nice big spots so everybody can see what we're doing. So we're going to be using this one. It is a 2-year. So we have all of 2026 and all of 2027 in here. And then we have a nice big pocket in the back for stuff, which would be nice. We do not have, what we do not have, and I'll be adding it, is the elastic that we use on here. This one. We don't have it on here, so I will be adding that. It's no big deal. Just poke a couple of holes, put the elastic in, and we're good. So we're going to start putting stuff in this one. I will be sad to see this go, as we've been working on this book for about 2.5 years. Three years, because this was a 3-year planner, 2023 to 2025. We've had this one forever, but its time has passed. So, what do we got going on? We have this month's hashtag Project of 25 challenge is playing cards and or packing tape, any kind of packing tape. Okay, I don't care if it's the kind that you steam, wet, regular, clear, paper, string, whatever it is, whatever kind of packing tape you have, you can use that. And playing cards. Now they don't have to be, if you don't have playing cards, that's fine. Just cut a playing card, 3.5 by 2.5. It's about the size of a playing card. Okay. Let's see what else. This Monday was, this day before yesterday, this Monday, was our first Monday Mixed Media Mini Morsels, and they'll be every other weekend. Everybody's stuff has been shipped from the sale, except one, which is going today. Last week, we had a tab paperclip bookmark pen holder. I know, and it was all one thing, a little teeny piece too. We also had some junk mail layered pockets. And tomorrow we're going to be back to work on the Winnie the Pooh, hopefully get it done. And so Friday we'll probably be starting our Dark Macabre. But we're no longer doing art therapy on Thursdays. Now we're working in our idea books. So if you don't have an idea book, you don't have an old scrapbook or something like that you can put stuff into, you could just make a signature and put it into there, or you could get like a 3-ring binder and just hole punch some cardstock and put that in there and use those. But we're going to be doing that. Saturday, I may or may not have mixed media. I don't know. It's a 50-50. My daughter's picking me up at 1. Game starts at 2. Sometimes it runs 3, 4, 5 hours. Sometimes it's an hour. I have no idea how long this is going to take, but we're going to go to bingo. Alex and I have a date on Saturday to go to bingo, so we're going to go do that. And so I may be back here in time for mixed media, but I may not be. Okay, so it's questionable at that point. We will have our game on Sunday. Oh, and then on Monday, it's a 4-pocket paperclip. I know, right? I'm getting weird. So, God, all the stuff we've done. We've been in a lot of stuff together, guys. So, that's everything, I think. All right. I think that'd be everything. I always have fun with my daughter. She's exactly like me. We're horrible together. So we'll be back tomorrow, and we'll get our signatures put into the little golden book, and maybe do a tassel or something for it. Some decorating to finish it up, and then get on to the next book. All right. So if you're new here and I have not yet offended you, hit subscribe. You want to be here for it. It'll happen. It always does. If you would like to know what's going on in my on my channel, you want to know what's going on for my coffee, you could pick up some free digitals over there, and you could support the page on Patreon. You can check out my Facebook group. You can, well, if you want to cyber stalk me, hit the more button in the description below, and it'll give you links to everything. My Etsy shop, my Ko-Fi, my Patreon, my community tab here on YouTube, my Facebook group. It's all there. You can cyber stalk me. It's fun. All right. So until I see you again, stay cool, stay hydrated, stay well, my friends. I love you guys, and I will see you soon. Bye.